Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Conversations with Anasa. So let's start with meditation. Take your attention inside and follow your breath with your awareness down to the energy center below your belly button. The reason we focus on this one so much is because this is the enteric brain, the gut brain, which actually is the source of our creativity. The mental brain is reflective and stuck in third dimensional reality. The enteric brain is creative and is responsible for probably a huge percentage of all the neurotransmitters that allow our brain to function. So if you begin to understand that in a visceral way, this is our visceral system, then you can understand the advantage to having our attention in the center of our body, which is really the gravitational center, which is below the belly button. So living from there instead of between our ears can give us a whole different experience of what it is to be a human being. We can begin to experience ourselves more directly as the creative energy that we are, rather than the reactive energy that happens from our brain and our emotional system. And you can probably feel that as you energize this part of your body, it actually begins to open the higher centers. So when you're ready, drop your attention all the way down to the center of the earth. And when you're ready, align yourself with the gentle movement of the tailbone in harmony with the breath. And you can literally feel your system inflating as you occupy these energy centers. from the bottom up. When you're ready, gently move up to the solar plexus. And when you're ready, move into your heart center. And there's a unity with Divine Mother that can be experienced here. As we tune ourselves to the Divine Feminine, understanding that we are pretty much equal part Divine Masculine, but it's the feminine that needs to be balanced and present in the outer world. Masculine has run amok. When you're ready, allow your energy to come up to the throat center. Allowing your energy to move up and out the top of your head through your third eye. When you're ready, holding your attention inside, gently open your eyes. How is everybody today? So we'll give you a brief astrology update. There is a Saturn-Sun conjunction on the 13th of March. Today's the 9th. That's Thursday. And when Sun-Saturn conjuncts, Saturn is in Aquarius, which is its own house. So Saturn's quite powerful. However, Sun combusts Saturn. So that means it takes Saturn's energy. And Saturn is behind the Sun and white hot rage. Saturn is the common people. Sun is power and authority. And so things are likely to get quite intense. Something big, scandalous may break on Thursday. And then the eclipse is the next day. And the eclipse, the sun is at the very, very end of Aquarius. So it begins at 29:59 in Aquarius, and during the eclipse, it actually moves across into Pisces. So there's a complicated confluence of energies all at once. It's always a big deal when the sun changes signs every month because the energy of the power behind all the structures in our government changes. It will change from Aquarius is a sign that generally fights for the underdog. Pisces is a very spiritual sign. So we'll see what happens when Sun goes into Pisces. So, and when there's a lunar eclipse, which this is at the end of on Friday, in a lunar eclipse, we tend to get very emotionally turbulent. And so this is a global emotional turbulence. And during an eclipse, the places from which the eclipse can be seen tend to be the ones where the events happen. And this eclipse is visible from North America, South America, Russia, Ukraine, Europe, Africa, not India. And so we will be definitely impacted emotionally. And the tendency is to feel like we need to do something, make some change. And this is the absolute wrong time to make a change. So in the next, 10 days, and then the emotional turbulence will last for 2 weeks. And so if we just know that, then we can hold steady and spend a lot of time stabilizing ourselves emotionally, because the turbulence is external to us. We don't have to live in it. We can stabilize ourselves with our meditation techniques and hold our energy low in our body and be calm. And that calmness will impact every life that our life touches, especially during this period when everybody else is going berserk. If we can hold steady, that's our duty. So we welcome your questions and, anything that's been going on for you. We're happy to share. Yes.
Good morning, everybody. Hi. Yes, I have this lovely woman in my life who's turning 95 next weekend. And I think she's about ready to leave the planet.
Right.
And she was my father's lady friend for many years. My mother passed when I was in my mid-20s. So she's basically been my mother.
Wow.
And she is just the most special lady. So my emotions are, coming to the surface, and they have been. She's been struggling a bit for several months, but so I'm glad you talked about the astrology, and just pay attention and
Well, of course, you know that your participation with her is easing her way across,
oh,
that you are settling the environment around her so that she doesn't feel like anything is left undone.
Mm, thank you. That's
Yeah,
helpful. Yes.
yeah, that's your job,
Yes.
and you're doing it.
Mm,
And in understanding that, one very important thing that came to us about you during the week is that it's really time for you to stand in your own power.
hmm
And what that means essentially is that you don't allow anybody else to determine what happens to you or what you're going to do. We're um, going to say, because we've watched from a distance uh, a lot of your life events unfold, and very often the strongest energy in your environment overrules your own inner sense of what to do,
hmm
especially when it comes to authority figures
hmm
like doctors or,
Right. I
people like
do.
that. And we're saying this not just for you,
hmm
because it's not uniquely feminine, but it's very common. And
hmm
all of us have a tendency when we're under pressure and we're not sure what's happening
hmm
to let authority figures decide for us.
hmm
And for those of us who are energetically sensitive, that's usually the wrong thing.
hmm
Because if we get quiet and listen to our energy, we are being told what's best for us.
hmm
And even our experience will tell us, for example, if a medicine isn't good, we know it.
Yeah.
And if somebody tells us that we have to take it anyway, that's time to go somewhere else. We're in the
Right.
right place.
Right.
It's not so we really have to trust the
Mm-hmm.
inner information that we're cultivating because, and that's the test. The test is when we have the information, are we going to listen?
hmm
And so, and this isn't specifically about you, it's really for all of us
hmm
that we can't give our power away when our inner voice is telling us one thing and the external world is telling us something different.
Yes.
That's when we walk.
Well, I'm glad you hit on that note. I'm working very strongly with my therapist around this, and she's she's very gently and sweetly keep, keeping me to the task, and it has been a great help internally for me, and so I appreciate that.
Yeah, well, we talked about that quite extensively last week.
Yeah,
And our only advice is don't let yourself get pushed into danger.
right. Yeah, it's a really really a beautiful time for me as I'm bumping up against myself and just learning of all the what I need to do for myself and finding that. And I'm doing a lot of practices and I'm talking with her a lot about where what's been going on. And so I've been making some headway and I'm very proud of myself.
Okay, we will tell you that there are spiritual people that Rebecca won't go near
Uh-huh.
because there's nothing to be gained
Yeah, I get that. Yeah.
and there is potential for loss.
hmm
Not everyone is trustworthy,
hmm Yes. Yeah, we have.
especially energetically.
Yes.
And so it's really, really important to understand what the potential danger is with
Right.
people who are more powerful than we are and who are skilled at fighting.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And
Thank, oh,
yeah, uh we're delighted to hear from you and we see your growth. It's fantastic. And you are doing exactly the right thing with your well, we won't call her stepmother, but maybe that's the relationship.
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that you are skilled at helping people pass. And
Mhm.
you know that. So just be at ease,
Mhm.
present as much as feels
Yeah.
like is needed or wanted.
Yes. Yeah.
And you can balance the needed and wanted with your own, other things that you must do.
Yeah.
But you're right, and it's just so beautiful, the cushion of love that you are surrounding her with
Mhm.
so that she can actually release in a way that would not be possible without your participation. So
Wow. Well, thank you for that. I sure love her a lot.
yes, and that's what we're saying. That's it. This is love is the whole thing.
Yeah.
And any action carried out from love
Yeah.
will promote love. It's fifth dimensional activity. And so our alignment is about staying with that fifth dimensional purpose. And that's how we know how to behave. If it's in alignment with our highest best, we will be very clear. If
Mhm.
it's not, we will also be very clear and we have to listen.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the tests get stronger and stronger as we get stronger and stronger. The parts of ourselves that are resistant that we have yet to confront in terms of taking responsibility for our own choices really get sticky.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and it's in that decision-making process that we embrace our own power
Yeah.
and come into responsibility for our own decisions.
Yeah.
And and that gives us more access every time we choose our own power. And it may mean that we have less friends.
True.
That's fine. And we've also watched that happen for you.
Well, it's really beautiful to be feeling this in myself. And it's just a wonderful time. It's been challenging and it has been very growthful. And thank you so much, and all of you, for your support. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Hmm. I know I'm speaking for everyone that we value your presence here. It's it's really important for all of us.
Well, I sure feel so much for this group and all I'm learning. It's been quite a beautiful journey. Thank you all.
Yeah, we're really lucky to have each other. It's,
We
it's,
are. Thank you.
what else? How may we serve today? As with you, we're kind of coming in and out today, so feel free to just start talking if we're not exactly looking. Life becomes a lot easier when we hold our energy below our belly button because we have the thoughts can bounce around on the surface and we're not part of it. When our attention is low. And our entire matrix of belief training is that everything important happens between our ears. And so, as we begin to break free of that and center ourselves deeply in our body, things change. And our access changes. And then our capacity to respond from a unified place with the highest best for the whole actually increases. And our concern for our personal survival decreases because we begin to understand that there's very little under our control. Yes. Can't hear you. Can't hear you. Your microphone is off.
Okay,
There you go.
try that.
Yeah, we
Uh,
get you now.
uh-oh. Oh,
No, you're here. Oops, frozen.
escape.
Oh, you're here.
How about now?
Yes, perfect.
Okay, we had to go all over the place to get
Yes.
back here. Anyway, I was just going to say that for the past week or so, I've been waking up feeling jittery, and that's different for me. Um, and I've done all the things that I do to center myself and calm myself. Um, and still, I feel physically jittery. Um, anyway, I'm not sure if there's anything more I can do than my meditation and yoga and breathing exercises and listening to music and all the other things that I've been able to do. Um, and I'm not sure if it's astrological. Uh, it kind of feels. I also limit myself from the disturbing world news but it seeps in. Um, my husband here can handle the news way better than I can. I mean, handle it meaning be even entertained by it.
I do a lot of this.
Yeah,
Yes.
he reacts to it, um, but I don't find it entertaining at all. I do limited forays into, well, like the reading the paper, because I can do that at my own pace and reading the headlines just to keep myself informed as to what crazy new thing is happening. But I don't know if it's the world situation that is influencing this. It feels like something else, maybe astrological more. Um, anyway, that's my um, update for now. And I just was wondering if you have any any suggestions.
Well, we had a teacher who used to say the mantra of stupidity is what's going to happen to me. And when we get in these situations of political turmoil and literally all the structures that we have come to expect to be stable in our culture are wobbly, it's easy to, even on a subtle level, without being aware of it, begin the what's going to happen to me as we see these structures crumbling. And we can have another version of it that's what's going to happen to them, but it's still the same subtle, sense of our own vulnerability in the world. And this is partly why we are focusing so much on bringing your attention down and out of your head, because most of us have, 90% of our attention here. And when we pull it down and we actually occupy the space below our belly button, then our mind gets quiet. And there is a calm that becomes available. And so everything that you're doing is absolutely right. You're doing all the practices but this holding your attention low will change everything, because we tend to think that, as we said about the astrology, we tend to have the feeling that we have to do something, or we have to know something, or we have to be something, or there are all these urges that start to come up that we can't respond to, or we don't know how to respond to. And this isn't specifically to you, this is for everyone, that we start to feel like the whole world is out of control and we have to respond in some way. And the deepest way to respond is to go deeper in ourselves and become calm, and to hold to our practice until we really access that. And at the same time, there will be this unsettled quality that you're describing. And when we don't take it personally, but understand that it is a global uncentered quality, which you are doing as you do all the techniques that as we can allow ourselves the luxury of steadiness in this unsteady time by just centering over and over and over. And understand that our lives are finite and we don't know. We don't know what's going to happen next. And that's always been true. And it always will be true. But sometimes it feels more true than others. And this is one of those times where everything is rock and rolling around us. And, it's the curse of living in interesting times. And one thing that's true for everybody on this call is that we've reached an age where there's a limit to how much we could respond, even if we want to, because we don't have so much energy like we used to burn up in the outside world. And so instead, we can use the energy we have to cultivate the deepest calm possible. Because really, we are practicing for our own death, which is nothing if not confronting the uncertainty of what's going to happen. Yeah, we just felt your energy go way down. That's it. That's it. Feel how calm that is. That's it. That's the spot. Mm. And then the words aren't necessary. And you'll find that the mind is like, I don't know if you've ever fished, but there's a bobber that stays on the surface. And when you get a fish, it pulls the bobber down. So you've hooked something. Well, our mind is like a bobber. It's like it's got air in it that just comes up. The second we stop holding it down, it bounces right up. And so that's not failure, that's habit. So we have to create a new habit of being conscious of where our attention is, understanding that it's going to bounce up every chance we give it, because that's where we've been taught the action is. Couldn't be further from the truth in reality. Really, the action is below the belly button, because from there, you can watch with a clear perspective. You move out of reactivity. We have a friend who teaches Qigong who calls the area below the belly button, which is called the lower dantian in Chinese medicine, calls it home base, safe place. From there, we have true perspective. It's like looking at a burning house from a distance, you know. And for all of us, our bodies are becoming that burning house. But we can always go to home base, safe place. And from there, we get safe passage. What else? So when people talk about being in the zone, they're really talking about having your attention below your belly button. Because for an athlete to perform, they can't be, thinking and dinking in their brain. They have to be centered and in the place of performance, which is the zone, which is available below our belly button. That is the zone. Any performance done from there will be as successful as you're capable of. Things done from here, not so reliable, in case you haven't noticed. Especially if we shoot from the hip in an emotional reaction. So, especially in these times when there's so much volatility in the atmosphere, it's our job to really hold to the zone so that any interaction we do have is based in the highest best for everybody. Because we can't see what that is, we can only be what that is. And when we are that, then that energy itself is helpful to other people. Yes. Oh, you're just scratching your chin. Sorry. Hmm. Yes. Hmm.
I just wanted to report that it looks like my niece will be getting her forestry position back.
Oh, good. One of those, now you're fired, now you're hired.
But it may be a while. I think there's going to be back pay and such. But she talked to her boss, and it's been all held up in the courts.
Yes.
So I think her particular office is one of the first in the area. So that's much great relief if it all happens. So it's sounding good. We'll see. But it takes a lot of stress off, at least how
Yeah.
crazy this time is.
Well, and the other thing is we can hold to what the gods have said all along, that we have to see what we don't want to choose what we do.
Oh, it's so true. The learning
And
from, there's
yeah,
so much learning.
yes. And as we see what's happening, everybody around us is like erupting
Right.
and choosing the highest best.
Yes.
It
Yes.
just is taking a while.
I'm giving her gentle coaching on just because her mother says, oh, we'll go take a class at this time or go. I'm saying, why don't you just take this
Yeah, enjoy your
moment,
vacation.
take this
Yeah.
moment to
Yeah.
just rest in what is and find out who else you are there.
Yeah. Or go to Hawaii for a week.
Yeah,
Yeah.
could
Like
be.
really enjoy the time off because it may be years before she
It's
gets to do
really
that
true.
again. Yeah. Yeah.
So,
So it's a time to meet crazy with crazy by just self-indulging for
well,
her.
yeah, that wouldn't hurt.
Mhm. That's not how she's put together, though. She won't be
No,
able there.
no, he's very responsible.
Yes, we see it. That's that's why we said it.
Yes, I'm sure. I just wanted to report that. Thank you.
Yeah, that's such good news.
Great conversation this morning. Thank you.
Yeah, well, and we're hopeful that things will right themselves in this way
Hmm.
as as people become more conscious,
Yeah,
because there's a whole layer of the population, talk about defunding education. It's already happened. The
yeah,
reason that we're in this position is because people don't understand critical thinking, and
right.
that's on purpose.
Mm.
So this has to be completely redesigned so that more people are served by uh, actually being educated.
Yeah, I think this is really a good time to find our centers and those who are frightened to just come into themselves and
Yes. For
yeah,
example, if your niece can learn
yeah,
where her center is
yes,
and how to be in that zone,
yeah,
I mean,
how to allow that
imagine
wiggle.
knowing that when you were in your 20s and being able
Oh,
to
oh my,
hold it.
yeah, really. Yeah, very true. There is a lot of
And
offerings for learning.
lots of athletic people know that, but they don't apply it to the rest of their lives.
Right,
They do it while they're doing the sport,
right,
then they walk away and they go crazy just like everybody else.
right.
So she may already know it,
Yeah,
but not know it for her life,
true. Yeah,
just when she's doing physical things, because
yeah,
that's how we first come in contact with it, most of us.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Mm.
Thank you.
But we can only take in things when we're ready. So,
True,
use
true.
your judgment.
Yeah, you have to be, you learn to
Yeah.
find that spot and you work with it.
Yeah, and you have to feel for who you're talking to and where they are and what they're ready to hear and what they're not, because
Yeah,
everyone's different.
yeah,
And you know that very well. We all do.
yeah. Thank you.
You're so welcome. And we're so delighted for her. It's great. What else? Hmm. How may we serve further? Hmm.
I might as well go ahead. There's a second part to what I've been confronting in myself. And this has been going on for a long, long time. And it's my critical thoughts. When they come up, I recognize them and I don't particularly want to entertain them. Um, I know that they're not helpful. And anyway, want to be able to deal with them in a way that actually lessens them. Um,
So we have
besides just
something that
saying,
we do.
what?
We have something that we do.
Oh,
Um,
good. All right.
most of Rebecca's critical thoughts were placed there by either parent, usually the mother. And so when one of those comes up, she goes, "Oh, yeah, that's the mother voice." And it loses all its power because we didn't put it there, but we have embraced it as though it's ours. And you just say, "That's not mine." And you let it go because it's not yours. It's somebody else that you have allowed to occupy space in your psyche. And you can just drop it out or give
How
it
do you
back.
drop it?
You give it
How,
back. It's not mine. Go back
oh,
where you came from.
okay. Well, I don't identify where it came from as my mother. It may be other places, but it feels like I conjured it up myself. That
Doubtful.
it's like,
Our
hmm,
deepest self has no reason to be critical. So the small self, maybe, but usually our creativity is not about limiting us. So
it's
anything
not about what?
limiting us, and
Uh-huh.
critical voice is about punishment. This is why we attribute it to matrix of belief from some authority figure when you were small that
Hmm.
you internalize, because these critical thoughts always have with them, if I don't hold this critical thought, then my behavior will go out of control.
Hmm.
That belief. And that's just not true. It's just
Yeah.
not true. When we
Well,
let go,
it feels like critical judgments about anything, really. Um, it's a kind of a judgmental stance or habit. It feels more like a habit
well, it's a
than
habit of belief that that has some function. When
hmm,
you understand that it has no function except to confuse you and limit you and make you feel bad about whoever or whatever.
whatever, right?
Yeah, usually about yourself. It's a way we shoot ourselves in the foot to keep literally hold our resistance in place.
Oh, well, I feel as though I recognize it all the time. It's not, it's, I don't give it weight. I
But you
do let
still
it
own
go
it.
as quickly as possible, but they're annoying. Um,
Well, just understand that it has nothing to do with you, that it's not you, and send it on its way. It has no function in your life. That's positive.
okay, but if it feels like mosquitoes, they are not me, but they are very annoying and they, you know, it takes away from appreciation. That's what
Stop
I feel.
inviting them into your awareness. Put them
I
some,
I don't feel like I have any say in the matter until they've arrived, and then I have say. I can say, This is a critical thought, and I don't really need you." And besides that, you're only one uh, take of whatever the situation is, and there's more going on than you know. So I try to calm them down and make them
that's way too much
understand that they're not
conversation.
helpful. What?
That's way too much conversation. Just send them on their way. You don't have to talk to them.
Okay,
They
just sort of ignore them, deny them.
give them no energy. Put your
Okay.
energy somewhere else. Pull your attention down. They can't survive when you're down there.
Okay, that's what I thought. I thought that this question was related to the jittery thing because of the energy being um, elsewhere than in my center. Okay, that makes a whole lot of sense, and I have somewhere to go
Yes,
with
you
it.
can just dive down and let them, they can't follow.
Okay, thank you. That's something that I'm going to experiment with.
Yes, and we really want to know how it goes for you, because this is a really important thing. Of course, you're not the only one who has this. We all have it, and we all have it in different ways. And generally, we use it to shoot ourselves in the foot about something. And then we're off to the races and we can't, we have embraced all the resistance to the change we're trying to create in ourselves.
Well,
And
one of the things that I've gotten better at is not getting on the train.
yes,
It stops and I identify it and I choose not to go with it. It's so easy to get on a train of thought and you wind up in, I say, Sheboygan, which is a weird town in
yeah.
anyway. um and I don't go with it. I identify it, but I would like to have more control prior to them coming up, or not control, but
Yeah.
freedom
Well,
from them.
just take the deep dive and see if they can follow.
Thank you.
Oh, you're so welcome. Anything else? Anybody?
I have something very similar to that.
Oh, good.
I um I found well, I didn't find myself. I was purposefully with a group of people that I don't know that spent a couple of hours with. And I am so I get so annoyed at people's inane conversations. And it just this started when I was very little. I remember being very quiet and criticized soundly for not being more gregarious and happy and wanting to engage with everybody. I've always just preferred to be quiet and observe and just be in myself. But I've always been faulted for that, and I still fault myself for that. But in a way, I feel like it's okay. That's I don't know how to explain this, but living this COVID life was so perfect for me because just isolating and being quiet and being by myself is just the perfect life for me. And I I was just miserable in high school because of this, because I'm not interested in all the stuff that we're taught we should be interested in. I don't care about cheerleaders and the football games and everybody's sororities, and I just don't want anything to do with that. So I feel kind of badly that I'm not more gregarious, more social, but on the other hand, it's what I prefer.
Well, we would frame this as the self-acceptance as an introvert rather than an extrovert. I mean, that's an
Right, right.
oversimplification, but we celebrate your desire to be quiet and internally focused rather than externally. That's why you're here. That's why you're going through the changes that you have cultivated for decades. It's because you have always known somewhere inside yourself that your inner life has more to offer than the outer life when it comes to true understanding. And you've always intuitively known that. And so celebrate that in yourself. That's what's allowed you to be a deep person and to have spiritual experience. and be cultivating that and to rise above all the external distractions. And so enjoy that about yourself. And if you find yourself in the company of other people who don't feel that way, um, use it as a learning experience about what other people are about rather than harming yourself for being deep. That would be our advice. What do you think about that? Just allow it to be entertainment, like watching TV.
Oh, I love that. That's perfect. Oh, that's perfect. Because it kind of is.
It is. It has nothing to do with you or anything that
I
you think
can't
about or
believe
care
the
about.
things that people are interested in and talking
Yeah,
about,
it's
and
like watching a soap opera. You
yeah,
know,
oh my God, I just think, what hell is wrong with you? And I just
well,
touch
there's
people
nothing
I
wrong with
agree.
them either. They're just different. They've
Right,
made different choices. And so,
right,
they aren't wrong. They're just immature. And that's
right,
okay. We don't blame children for being children, no
right.
matter how old they are.
Can I say that they're young souls?
And that's probably true, yeah. But use it as entertainment, not as an opportunity to hurt yourself.
Okay, thank you. Because
Mm.
I've always felt like, oh my God, it's not okay to be like this.
Yeah, I know we're different.
Yeah,
Gift. What a gift. It's, it's celebrate it. Celebrate it. And when you're in the company of people like that, feel grateful that you're not like that.
yeah, yeah.
Really enjoy who you are and allow it to entertain you.
I love that. It's a TV show.
Yes, and you
And I
don't,
don't watch TV anymore, so it's
right. And if you did, you wouldn't judge yourself to be at fault because somebody else behaved in a crazy way. You
right.
would just be entertained by it. So this is how to be with it. There's no, and if there's an opportunity for you to offer something great, and if there's not, you can be quiet. And nobody has the right to judge you for your choices, including those ancient inner voices that come to condemn us.
Right. Thank you.
Mm.
This helps a lot with my plight for self-acceptance.
Hey, we all have it.
Yeah.
You're not alone. And we all have that same desire to be celebrated by others and the absence of that. We all have it, and it
Good.
comes and goes.
Good.
Yeah. So let's
So
take some
much.
to celebrate our deep inner before we say goodbye for the day. We are so grateful to all of you for your participation and the opportunity to do this together. So much love to you all. Thank you so much for sharing with us today. We're so, so grateful. Till next week. Bye for now.